G'day everyone and welcome to Self-Reliance Australia. So over the last couple of weeks I've been getting some really positive feedback about the way that I stored the firewood using the IBC cages. Now look, the way I've done it is, I've done it for what I wanted to do, so that's sitting on its side. But what I thought I'd do this week is just talk a little bit about another option of how to use those cages and how to store firewood using them. And it's basically a little bit simpler if you're trying to reach into the bottom and get those bits of firewood out from the very bottom. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I've been using my IBC cages on their side, and there's been a reason for that, and I think I explained it in the previous video. So I've got these platforms on top, I've got like a little ramp up to go on top, so I am using them as a climbing apparatus for our two dingoes as well, as opposed to just purely a way to store firewood. Look, this is a nice way for us to store firewood. It's a space that I was going to use to create a ramp or platform anyway. So this is a nice way to put some structure around that, but also it keeps the firewood dry from being outside. It's a good way to stack it. It's in the cage. It also gives me an indication of how much firewood I have, because each of these holds roughly just over a cubic meter of firewood. Now they're not full at the moment, although I would have liked them to be full. Unfortunately, the guy I get my wood from didn't have any more than 2 cubic meters, so I've sort of split it across two of them just to put some weight into the cages, so when the dingoes jump up, it's not moving around for them. But look, another way that these are used, and look, I haven't seen it done a real lot, but when I bought the cages, the guy did describe it to me. And that was, yes, you can see these IBC cages do come with a solid floor in the bottom. And as we come around, have a look at the bottom of them, because normally they would sit, obviously, along that edge. They're up off the ground. So, and you also see they have spots for your forklift tongs to go into as well. So if you put obviously the floor of it on the bottom, any wood that you store in them will be up off the ground. So you're not going to get the moisture coming up into your wood at any time. So it's a great way to do it. Plus, if you're really, really fortunate enough to have a tractor with some tongs on it, which I'm not, unfortunately, you can easily move them around as well. So you can stack your wood, and then you can move these crates or the cages around easily on the front of your tractor, which is also a great way to do it. But another tip for using these cages when they're sitting on the bottom, like the right way up, is that you can cut out the side of these cages. And not saying all the way out either. I'm just saying, so from that down to maybe the middle, down to the next one along the bottom here. So what you do is then you have an opening on the side, because if you just have the cages sitting on the ground normally, you're still having to reach inside the cages to get the wood out all the time, which can be hard on your back. Whereas if you cut a bit of the structure out, and you might want to go, down to nearly the bottom and back around, the cages actually have enough strength and stability in them to hold their shape and structure with part of it missing. Now, the guy I bought these from said you can even stack them still. Not too sure how I'd go with that, but he reckons you can. But if you've got them lined up, if you've got 3 or 4 of them lined up on the ground, and you have the side of them cut out, what it allows you to do is still stack the wood in there, but if you're not super tall, you can still reach all of the wood in the bottom easily without damaging your back. So anyway, I just thought I'd share that as just a different way of using these IBC cages. I've had a few comments about what a great idea these are to use, and it's just, look, they're just cheap and simple, and they do put a bit of organisation into how I store my firewood, keeps them out of the weather. But look, if you do flip them, you can store them outside, and your wood's not going to be on the ground. If you cut the side out, it's just going to be a lot easier to access. So, hope that's been helpful. If it has, please give us a big thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed, that would greatly help the channel if you go along and do that as well. And hit the little bell so you get early notifications of when new videos drop. So until next time, Thanks for watching.